Peace, y'all. Got to start this episode off with a quick shout out to the good people over at Every Deja Vu Records, an independent record label based in Boston, Massachusetts. Starting as a blog in 2012, Every Deja Vu had its first official release as a label in 2014 and has released over 20 projects since. They've released projects from Japan, Blue, Sachi, and others spanning hip-hop, indie rock, R&B, and more. Every Deja Vu represents a contrast between the norm and the fantastical, and they align with the belief that the best stuff is happening right underneath your feet. Real Notes is proud to be sponsored by Every Deja Vu, especially for our first live taping. I mean, I'm seriously fucking geeked about this, y'all. We hit a new fucking level. Peace to Ryan for reaching out. Peace to Indie Rap. Peace to Old Bay Potato Chips. Stay tuned. What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest for the first edition of Real Notes Live, recorded at Loudmouth Records in Brooklyn, New York, are New Jersey rapper Fatboi Sharif and New York producer, engineer, and label head Steel Tip Dove. We spoke about Oppenheimer, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, the Amazon Prime show Patriot, how film scores and directors inspired Sharif's writing style, creating images with their words and beats, and the creative process behind their collaborative album Decay. Come fuck with them.
So I guess, I don't really have much else to say. So, the two guys we got here are incredibly special. They've been working forever, and the two of them coming together the way they did for this beautiful album, Decay, is extra special to me, extra special to everybody in this community, and, shout out to Backwoods, and, we got Jersey and New York linking up in a crazy way here, and without further ado, we got Jersey's Fatboi Sharif, New York's Steel Tip Dove. Woo! Let me move. Wait, sorry.
Go in the middle.
Yeah, that works. Cool. All right, so.
Yeah, you good.
All right. First and fucking foremost, thank the two of y'all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for having us. Shout out everybody in the building. Y'all could have been anywhere else in the world, but y'all here with us tonight, so give yourself some love for being in the building. CineMasai, yeah.
It's just our 50th birthday, and y'all chose to spend it with us. Well, it's the weekend, but y'all know what I mean. But it's extra rare to get this guy out the house. So this is monumental. So give it up for Doug being out here with us. Oh man. So first thing, I'm gonna ask y'all the first question I ask everybody who comes on this shit. What was the last movie or TV show that both of y'all watched that you had a strong opinion about? Who wants to go first?
I'll start this.
Oh no.
Because I text you my strong opinion yesterday in real time. I seen Oppenheimer yesterday. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it was okay, but people were souping it up. It wasn't all the way, it wasn't as crazy as people was making it seem. I've seen that same type of movie and plot done before, better, but it was cool. Right. But afterwards, I seen the new Ninja Turtles. That was fire. Shout out Marcus Bunny. That was fire right there.
TV show.
Last TV show.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't be super duper tapped into all of the new TV shows, but I like to watch a lot of old stuff, so. Last TV show I watched was probably Kids in the Hall. Oh shit. Hell yeah.
I haven't actually seen all the Kids in the Hall now that I think about it, but that's not what you told me about Oppenheimer. What did you really tell me about Oppenheimer?
Okay, I'm gonna go to the text messages.
that was a little tame, honestly.
He had to digest. He still might get to work with
I gave him 3 sections of the conversation. Hold on, let me find I said...
He shit all over it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on. Because he making me really find this so I can read it to y'all in real time.
Nah.
Oh, okay. So in the movie,
while Sharif's looking, Doug, what about you?
Last movie that made an impact, I think, that really stuck with me was Everything Everywhere All at Once. And that was fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I don't see a ton of movies, so I can't. I saw Megan. That was funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
What did you think of Megan?
I thought it was funny. I really liked it. I didn't know what to expect. People were like, a lot of people didn't like it, but a lot of people did too, right? Like, it seemed like split right down the middle.
Yeah.
But I liked it. It was funny. And best TV show I've seen recently is called Patriot. Has anyone here seen Patriot? No, I did
What
not
is it
think
on?
so. It's on Amazon Prime. It was like from
Okay.
2015. There's only 2 seasons. It has nothing to do with being a patriot. I'm not even gonna say anything about it. Best TV show I've seen in years. Patriot.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah,
What did the text say?
Yeah. Tell us real quick.
No. The text just had a bunch of thumbs down.
Oh. That's the one.
Yeah. It had a bunch of thumbs down, so I wasn't feeling it. But then the text after that said, I'm loving this Ninja Turtles movie though, with the fire emoji.
Yeah.
So, make some noise for the Ninja Turtles, y'all. Yeah. Ninja Turtles over people arguing about a bomb any day of the week. For sure.
Shit. I kind of agree about Oppenheimer because I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan fan in the world. I like his shit is good, but to me, I feel like he doesn't understand how human beings work. He makes movies about people and events, but he's so analytical and so craned far back that it's he doesn't get how they work. And Oppenheimer was the closest he came to really understanding a person, and it had to be the guy who created the atomic bomb. So that kind of threw me. There were a lot of big ideas that he was trying to explore that just didn't hit all the way for me personally, but beautifully directed. The bomb sequence in particular was gorgeous. I love the just the idea of simulating how it would suck the air and just the sound out of everything. Just really dope, really creative technically, but this is the closest he's come to understanding a human being, and it's somebody who did that. I still haven't seen Ninja Turtles. I'm kind of sad about that. I know. I wanted to see it when it came out, but I love the Turtles. I love the style. The animation's gorgeous. The fact that we live in an era where people are using billions of dollars of CGI to create stuff that third graders create on classroom desks is hard. That shit is crazy to me. But how was the actual movie? Tell me a little bit about the movie.
No, it was dope because it was the animated version, so they took certain elements of the original, eating the pizza and them being stuck in the sewer and all of that. But I like how they mixed it with kind of I don't want to ruin it for anybody who might see it, but it was kind of them being scared of the outside world. So the Ice Cube character came in and he was on some. Ice Cube's in it? Yeah. See, exactly. You never think you'll see Doughboy turn into a mutant until 2023. Stop playing games. Stop playing games.
Honestly.
Nah, but yeah, he was on some. We mutants, so we need to kill every human being alive, and it get deeper than that. I don't want to ruin it for people who want to see it, but I was definitely dope. Especially after I did not like Oppenheimer. Yeah. So I'm damn, my night is about to be ruined, and the Turtles saved it.
And you saw him back to back, right?
Yes, back to back.
Yeah. He does this all the time. What's the most amount of movies you've seen in one day at a theater?
Oh no.
Probably 3.
Okay.
Regular.
I respect that.
Going in 12. This was back in the day though. Back in the day, 10. I'll go in there 12 p.m. Chill into maybe 5 and keep it moving.
Fire. Yeah. It's been so long. I wanted to do Barbenheimer back to back, but I was in Chicago and then I came home. So I saw him within 24 hours, but
oh no, that shit 3 hours. You're not doing that.
I didn't have the time. I had other shit to do, but it's if Hollywood ever comes back, it'd be nice to do. I like the idea of a double feature, especially when they got nothing to do with each other. That's even more fun to me, personally.
No, for sure.
But Doug, tell me a little bit about how you felt about Everything Everywhere All at Once, because like that's something that's like it's been sitting with me for like what's it been like a year and a half since it came out, and like I think I've seen it like
it won the award, right?
Yeah, it won Best Picture.
Yeah, a lot of I don't know. I just loved the everything about it, like the special effects, the writing. I thought it was funny. It was deep and not deep at the same time. Like I thought it was really dope. What are the guy, the Daniels, right?
Yeah.
They did the Lil Jon video. That shit is crazy. You remember everybody? The video, he falls through the floors.
Yeah.
Same directors. Yeah. They got big off that video. Yeah, that shit is sick. And what was their other movies?
Swiss Army Man.
I saw that one. That one was good. Did anyone see that?
Yeah.
That shit was good.
I haven't seen Boom Shakalaka.
That's another movie called Boom
No, it's
Shakalaka.
a short. It's a short.
Okay. Did you see Swiss Army Man?
I did. Yeah. No, we watched it. Des, when did we watch Swiss Army Man?
A couple years ago.
Yeah, something like that. Anybody who doesn't know, Swiss Army Man's about like a corpse that somebody just like finds in the woods and they become best friends. It's like Weekend at Bernie's. But yeah, it's
banger.
It's
banger.
It's
Weekend at Bernie's not a banger?
It's no. What you gotta say?
Hold on. First of all, Weekend at Bernie's one of the best movies ever.
Thank you.
Don't you dare compare no dead corpse body movie to
No, this was a good movie.
The second one, we was dancing with the two niggas in the Caribbean. You fell out of the hospital. You shitting me?
Yo.
Come on, man.
It wasn't as good as that, but it was good. You know,
Okay.
like
I respect
you
that.
seen it? You seen it, Tony?
I don't have to see it. It ain't Weekend at Bernie's. Come on, man. 2 in particular. Because 1 was fire, but 2 was the one as a kid I used to
over 1?
You're crazy.
2 was way better than 1.
Alright.
I'm tweaking?
Yes.
Am I bugging?
Maybe a little.
Y'all like 1 more than 2? Y'all like Weekend Brothers 1 more than part 2?
Really kind of using the
What
same
about the Nat TV
concept.
sketch?
It's not
Alright,
really-
whatever.
Bro, like, see, like, I get it because, like,
2 had better music because they was in the Caribbean.
that's fine.
1 they was like in Boston or some shit.
Son,
Caribbean
okay.
more fun.
Were they?
I don't remember. It's been too long. But like one's the more iconic one to me, just because like that's like it's the first Bernie's, you know. But at the same time, there are tons of sequels that are better than the first movie. So like I get it, I respect that. Yeah, yeah. Like and it's crazy because there are a lot of people who think that Terminator 1's better than Terminator 2, and it's not. They're both great, 2 different kinds of movies. The second one's better.
So y'all think Terminator 1 better than 2? No, right?
You need 1 though.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm talking.
2's are more with more the funding and the bomb.
Listen.
Right.
Robert Patrick was perfect in 2. That shit said everything ever.
Yeah, iconic, bro. Yeah. We all wanted to melt like metal. Like, come on. Doug, tell me more about Patriot. I'm kind of curious about this Patriot show.
All right, so it's like this guy is a CIA agent, and his life is so fucked up, and he starts playing folk country music, like sort of, and while he's performing, he starts just putting in real details of missions of like murder. And his dad is like an agent above him, and he's like, you can't. What are you doing? You can't do that. And it's just like, it's about him becoming this doing this awful shit, and trying to just keep it together mentally. It's really funny and dark, and the cinematography is insane. It's so good. The guy, you know the guy from Lost, John Locke from Lost? He's in it. There's nobody really famous in it but him. But yeah, I couldn't recommend it more, seriously. The first episode will suck you in or not. Like you'll know of the first episode whether you're in or not.
All right. Yeah, no, me too. I don't run with Amazon Prime like that.
Just torrent it.
Okay.
Just
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'd be looking for excuses to like just hop on the high seas anyway. I haven't been on Pirate Bay in years, but it might be time. It might be time to go back. But nah, let's run it back with the two of you because there's a lot of history here. So like, what was the first movie experience that either of y'all can remember having? It could be at the theater, it could be at your cousin's house. The very first thing that comes to mind for either of you.
I'll start it. I would say I got a split. It's like 3 different movies.
Okay.
I seen around the same time.
Yeah.
3 different types too. Y'all about to be like, what the hell? So Home Alone, Candyman, Menace to Society.
Wow.
I know. Those are my first 3.
All back to back to back?
No, just around the same time.
Okay.
Like I remember I seen Home Alone. I I want to say my uncle showed it to me at the crib, and I'm like, oh, this is dope. Cool, I like this movie then. Then I see Candyman, I'm like, oh shit, a nigga with a hook. This is a whole different type of movie. God damn, what the fuck is dope? But I fuck with this is dope too. Then Menace to Society, I'm like, oh shit, they gonna watch this damn tape, the whole movie of this murder that's going on. This movie is insane. But yeah, that kind of explains my whole personality.
You're very goofy, and like Home Alone is very goofy, so I see it. And not in a bad way. I'm sorry.
I got you.
I didn't even mean it like that.
No.
That's just such like a three combination like Home Alone, Menace to Society, and Candyman? Like
within the same year, I want to say.
Within the
From
same
three different family members too.
Okay.
Mother, father, uncle.
Okay. So which one do you like the most? Like if you had to pick one that like kind of was like that's the one that did it for me. Like is there one?
At that age or right now in 2023?
Now.
Oh, Menace to Society.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like.
That shit is Criterion.
But the other one,
Literally, it's Criterion. I got the Criterion shit at the
The
crib.
other ones is all classic, but
Yeah.
obviously the message and the meaning of that movie stick and strike harder nowadays, especially when you see what's going on with the world and all of that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Nah, especially when people do this all the time, and it's kind of unfair, but like stacking it against why am I forgetting the name? Boys in the Hood. You know, like it's like not exactly a one-of-one comparison all the time because they're like two different tones almost. Like they both have sad endings, but like Menace is like we're not getting out the hood, bro. Like it's over. Like it's just
No, it's crazy because I remember we were talking about that at the train station.
Yeah.
The Hughes brothers, they were saying when they wrote the script for Menace to Society, they literally wrote it to be halfway scene by scene like Goodfellas.
Right.
Because they said Scorsese did an Italian gangster flick. They wanted to do their perspective of that from the black side. So that was always dope to me too. Once I heard about that and watched it again, from that perspective, it was always dope.
Right. Yeah. And on top of the fact that they got so many like local people to just like be in the movie. Like they were just like shooting at people's houses and they were like, hey, you want like $700, $800 just like be an extra for a day? Like, I mean, like they deserve more than that. Like I don't know how much money they got, but it was just cool that they like really brought the community in to like be in the movie. But sad movie, man. Like I've seen it 3 times and that's like, maybe I'll watch it like a handful more times before I die. Like I don't need to. That's not one of those I watch every year. You know.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
That shit is rough. But Duff, what about you? First movie experience you can remember.
I'm trying to think. Like first experience I remember being in a theater like with friends was a couple things. The Mask was crazy. I was the right age for going like probably like 10 or something old or something. I don't know, but that was a big because we went a couple times because we were just dying.
Right.
And Jurassic Park was a big deal in the theater when I was really young. I bet that doesn't. Does that hold up? Like,
yeah.
I haven't seen that.
I think it holds up.
But those are early memories of like being in a theater, and then at home it must have been like the Disney movies when you were a kid, like VHS and shit. I'm that age, so. But yeah, definitely those 2 movies. The Mask was killing us in the theater.
Man.
And Jurassic Park was a big deal.
The first time I saw The Mask, I remember thinking, "Damn, I wish I saw this in a theater." I was too young to. I'm trying to remember what year it came out, like, but
94, and that Ace Ventura and something else came out. What's the other one? What's the other one? What?
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber, all the same year, 1 year. That would they would not let that happen. That's crazy. Dumb and Dumber was funny too.
No, Dumb and Dumber the shit. Funny thing about that, I remember I told my mother, because they both came out around the same time, like you said.
Yeah.
I wanted that on VHS for my birthday. So I'm like, Mom, I love this movie. Please give me Dumb and Dumber. She got me The Mask. I cried for at least like 10 hours. I'm like, yo, this movie good, but fuck this. I need to see this big sheepdog dropped on. So whenever you bring up the mask, I just think about I was mad as hell with my mother for like 2 days because she bought me that for my birthday over Dumb and Dumber. So
See, now that's funny because I was mad as hell when I first saw Son of the Mask because that shit was trash. Like I was so amped. I saw that shit on a cruise ship, and it was like on the cruise ship, it was on one of those like TV channels where it was playing every 2-3 hours. So like every time I'd come back in the activities, it'd just be like, oh yeah, Son of the Mask is on, and it would every single. I don't know that I saw the movie all the way through from beginning to end. Every single part was ass. Every single part. It was like.
Is it worse than Dumb and Dumber too?
Well,
hell no!
Hang on.
Hell no! When Harry met Lloyd?
No. It's a real question. Is it worse than Belly 2?
Ooh, that's a bad one.
Belly 2?
That's a bad one.
Belly 2 is what?
Nothing is worse than Belly 2.
Do you need
No, I see somebody that's worse than Belly 2.
Nah, Belly 2.
Nothing.
Belly 2 is bad, but it's better than a lot of shit.
So crazy.
Which is
Smart
not
guy. He didn't know it was a Belly 2. Give it up for
Yeah,
God. He didn't know about Belly 2.
starting the game. Starting the game.
You live
Jurassic Park 94 as well?
You live in a blessed world. You don't know about Belly 2.
Smart guy.
But back to Dumb and Dumber, it's crazy because there was Dumb and Dumber 2, and then when Harry met Lloyd, like Book was just talking about.
That was the prequel.
And that was the prequel. That was terrible too.
It had the Bob Saget scene.
What?
Shit everywhere. Damn it.
I forgot about the yeah. Damn, Jesus, it's been so long. But nah, like, what were we talking about? I just lost my train of thought.
The first movie as a youngin.
Right. Yeah, but nah, like it's just. Something, but right, no, we were talking about sequels that are better than the original. That was it. So like sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, and I'm fine with that. Like it's just like if it makes me laugh, I'm gonna remember it regardless. Like if it's good or bad, it's better than being boring. Like a movie could be terrible. I'm gonna talk about it for 3 weeks. But if it's not, man, it happened. I gotta like remember shit that happened like 5 hours after, and it's like. Why did you even make this? Like people, you spent $40 million on this movie, and I didn't remember it after I saw it. Like I'd be ashamed.
I'm sure that movie wasn't $40 million.
Probably not, but I'm just throwing out. I'm just throwing out numbers. But no. So as the both of y'all got a little older and started to have more life experiences and just see more things, was there a movie that kind of stopped you in your tracks and touched you in a connected with you in a way that was like more than just this is 90 minutes of entertainment, like this is fun, cool, like is it just anything that like really was like this is a film type shit,
Punch Drunk Love I thought was really fucking good.
Yeah.
You see that? And then Eternal Sunshine was really good. I thought that shit
More
was
Jim
crazy.
Carrey.
Yeah.
Totally different too. And then what else did the guy that Punch Drunk Love do?
PTA, Boogie Nights,
Boogie Nights,
crazy.
Magnolia, crazy.
Throwing the fireworks. Yeah, but I'd say those. I really like those Paul Thomas Anderson movies a lot.
Yeah, no, I love Paul Thomas Anderson. I hated Licorice Pizza. I feel like I
see it.
I feel like I talked about this a lot.
I wasn't feeling it.
It's you missed nothing, bro. It was that's the only one of his movies that I look and I'm like, but the rest, like between Punch Drunk Love and Boogie Nights, like he's just all of his movies are so spectacular. Like he's somebody like Christopher Nolan in the sense that like his movies are so technically gorgeous, but he makes them about like he takes like these huge like epic spanning things and makes them just like so. What's the word I'm looking for? Like regular, like Boogie Nights is all about the porn industry, and that's just like a whole bunch of people arguing about money at a pool most of the time, and like and then just like Don Cheadle getting caught up in like the worst shootout in movie history at the donut shop. But like he can either take these really like intimate stories and make them super grand, or take things that are super grand and make them super intimate. And like Punch Drunk Love is a really good example of one of those. And I feel like it taught way more. I feel like it taught pretty much everybody that Adam Sandler could like. I hate to say it like this, but like actually act. Like he was fantastic at what he did. Like he he is fantastic at what he does when it's good, but like Punch Drunk Love was definitely one of the first times where I was like, oh, this isn't Billy Madison. This isn't Happy Gilmore. He's not getting whipped with the golf club by Bob Barker, you know? Like, so what was it about Punch Drunk Love that really struck you?
The way it looked, first of all, like the long shots. I love shit like that when they do really long shots in movies, like unbroken shots. That definitely stuck with me. And the music, the coloring, like it was all kind of blue. Like, yeah, just everything about the way it looked. And then the crazy acting, like, what's the guy that died? Philip Seymour Hoffman was fucking crazy in it. I loved him. He would just scream. Like, I feel like he improv so much of it. Like, yeah. I don't know, everything about it just really stuck with me. It was a really cool movie when I saw it. And then Eternal Sunshine, same thing, like the way it was shot, the crazy camera tricks that they did. And kind of a similar thing where it's somebody like Adam Sandler, you're seeing him step outside and do something totally different. Jim Carrey did the same thing, like went crazy with the acting where you're like, what, this guy? So, yeah, I think similar sort of vibes on why I like both for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel that. Like the crazy, I mean, like Jim Carrey also had a bit of a head start in the drama department because he had done like Man on the Moon, which is crazy. Andy Kaufman was something else, man. And then what was that other movie where he was like a Marine who lost the Majestic? Anybody here seen The Majestic?
Oh, that wasn't good though.
It wasn't. It was a bad movie. It was a bad movie. It's not great. It's not great, but my son was acting. You know, like but then like Eternal Sunshine was like a whole other. Like it's just like really mind-blowing shit. I'm a huge Charlie Kaufman dude. He's been the man forever. Being John Malkovich is one of my favorite movies. Man, like the ending of Being John Malkovich is one of the saddest, depressing things I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna spoil it because it's 30 years old. So the whole point or like the whole plot of the movie is like, for anybody who hasn't seen it, like there's this office building in New York. And it's got like the 15th and 7/8 floor. It's like not like a full floor, like the ceiling's up to everyone's heads and shit. And like there's a storage closet where if you go inside the shit, you can go inside John Malkovich's brain for 15 minutes. And like be him and like puppeteer his body. And then after the 15 minutes, you get spat out in a portal outside the New Jersey Turnpike. Literally, like I-95. It's like I had never, like I feel like I'd seen shit like that.
That's crazy.
It's wild. Like it's.
I ain't seen it in a while.
You got it.
Like so, like long story short, at the end of the movie, like other people start using the portal. Like there's this like whole group of old people who like they're all immortal. Because they managed to get into like it's always going to be a different person once every like 86 years or some crazy number like that. So like a bunch of old people will go into the portal and like inhabit the body and like live through the body. And like it's like every 86 years the thing changes to a different person. It's like a baby. And one of the characters winds up inside the head of his ex-girlfriend's young daughter, and he can't get out. So like and she left him for another woman, her daughter. So he has to watch his ex live a new life with her new partner through his daughter's eyes, and it's just like he's just stuck in the head, and it's over. Like he's just it's like
what the fuck?
I was like I didn't go to sleep after I saw that shit. That's like being stuck in a body that you can't control and are just like passively experiencing life is one of the scariest things in the world to me. Like having no autonomy. I mean, there's a lot of people of color in here. We all know what that means to an extent, but like it's just like literally not having control over your body is one of the most terrifying things on planet Earth to me. But he got that. Like he made that movie funny. That movie's funny as shit. Like I don't understand how he did it, but yeah. Eternal Sunshine. Oh yeah, Eternal Sunshine. There's a whole sequence in Eternal Sunshine where like he's like running through the house and constantly changing clothes. He did all of that in one take and had to like practice how he was gonna take his clothes on and put them off. Like I said, take his clothes on and put them off. And it doesn't matter. But like, yeah, thank you.
They did a lot of practical effects, right?
Yeah,
like in-camera tricks and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, like they were. Right, yeah, Michel Gondry is.
Yeah.
I wish I liked his solo material more. You know, Science of Sleep and the Green Hornet movie and all that. It's like Eternal Sunshines. That's the watermark. That's the milestone for sure. Like those are. But yeah, Sharif, what about you?
It's dope for me because I'd say a lot of the movies I would say that had me like, oh, this is dope. Like this is a whole another dope form of creation. It went into my writing too. So I would say Minority Report, Seven, Fear and Loathing, Matrix, even older stuff like Ganja and S, like all of those type of movies. Even if you go from just like certain just scenes in the story, like the scene in Seven where he got all of the Christmas lights, and he had the dude in the house for like 5 years. I'm like, yo, you can really do that creatively. I'm like, they can do that on film. I can do that in music. So a lot of that kind of influenced me on my creation, right, for sure.
Right. You know, I could tell. Like, we're gonna get into it a little later, but just like you're all like your style of writing is so like impressionistic. Like you just work in images like vignettes. It's just like it just be like half a bar is just like a picture, and then you're already moving on to painting something completely different. And you're just like telling, it's like 600 stories in one song, bro. It's like really fun. It's like listening to your music's kind of like a scavenger hunt for me, like in that way, because it's just.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, nah, like that's just ill to me. So yeah, nah, like let's run over to the music shit. When was the first time y'all really started to like lock in the music? Like Dub, I remember we talked and you had said that your first experience was with, or one of your first experiences was with Bloodhound Gang and Liquid Swords?
Yeah. I mean, like, I remember a kid in my middle school gave me Liquid Swords, Bloodhound Gang on CD on the same day. Or no, on cassette tape. Oh, and Stakes is High. And I would just run those, and I would just run those tapes on repeat, those 3 tapes over and over again. That was an early memory for sure. And then those were tapes. And then the first CDs, I remember, I feel like I had the Friends soundtrack, that one song, Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill, still a banger album. Green Day, Dookie. But I was a little kid, like that album's fire too.
Yeah.
Dookie's the shit.
Yeah, Dookie's tight.
I think I got the Seal album because that Kiss from a Rose song.
Kiss from a Rose was so crazy when it first came out.
Yeah, it still is. But yeah, those are some early like physical projects I remember having for sure.
Yo, good looks to dreadsock.com for sponsoring this episode of Real Notes. Anyone who has curly or locked hair like me knows how sacred a good hair wrap is. A do-rag, a wave cap, a scarf, a bandana, a bonnet, you name it. Dreadsock goes a step beyond the average with silk-based head wraps that offer full protection and frizz control for curls from 2A to 4C. They're made with a blend of breathable materials to help retain hair's moisture and preserve hairstyles enough to ensure a few less trips to the salon, all held down with an elastic band strong enough to withstand even the most aggressive head trips. Whether you wear one to bed or wear one on the go, Dreadsock will have you looking fresh and full. Socks come in all sizes, from shorties for short hair and beginner twists to extra large for the longer locked folks out there. Look, y'all, I've been growing my locks for nearly 2 decades and have been a loyal Dreadsock customer for 15 years. So when I tell you these shits work, I'm dead ass. Plus, they're an independent, black-owned business that's worth the time and energy. So, go to dreadsock.com and use promo code CineMasai, that's CineMasai, for 10% off your first order. They won't fall off in your sleep, but they will keep you looking fresh. Thanks again to Dreadsock for sponsoring the episode. Now let's keep this shit moving.
What about you, Sharif?
For me, I'd say even before hip hop, because I started writing raps around like 4th grade, 3rd or 4th grade. But before that, I was super heavy influenced by a lot of like grunge and heavy metal stuff.
Right.
So like White Zombie and Primus, dancing and all of that type of stuff. Like anything that was dope writing wise, but had a certain amount of energy and creativity to it, it always attracted me. Right, for sure.
Yeah, no, I just gotta say that Les Claypool is one of the best bassists of all time. He's immortal, man. Him and Thundercat are the reason I wanted to try bass at one point in my life. Like I think I still got my bass somewhere in my closet, but like those are, that's such a range. That's such a range of things, and it like really comes through in like both of the music that y'all make. But before we get to there directly, was there a period of time when the both of y'all consciously realized that music and film are two things that could complement each other? Like it could be in any form, like whether it's like a soundtrack you heard in a movie that was dope, or like a music video. It doesn't have to be either of those, but like I feel like those things come in like many forms. So.
No, I would definitely say from the beginning of film, from scores to soundtracks, even just how I always liked how certain scenes you could kind of call the scene before it happened because of the music that led up to it. So, for example, I'll go back to 7. The scene when they taking John Doe into the desert and they found the box. The music that's playing, it couldn't have been no other music to explain that scene. Meaning, if you pause that scene and just play that music, that could be something that you envision, just like in reverse.
Yeah.
So yeah, always. That's one thing that later on down the line, not even later on down the line, but that's one thing I want to get involved with. Scoring certain type of movies and soundtrack stuff, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I can see it. I can see it for you, honestly. Like there's just worlds. There's just worlds in the shit that you write, and like it's really ill for me to hear that like you also pulled as much from music or as much from film as you did from music. Like that's
definitely all the time.
Yeah, no, that shit is crucial. Doug, what about you?
I'm trying to think. Before I was like into making music and stuff, obviously movies and stuff, but what was huge for me was skate tapes. Do you remember the New York mixtape and all the 411 tapes and like Shorty's tapes and stuff like that? I would hear music I didn't hear before on those skate tapes and then have to search it out, wait for the credits, look at the band name, and then try to find the shit. I remember skate tapes being a huge influence for me musically. I can't really link it to movies like Sharif can though. Like I fuck with music and movies and scores, and I would love to work on stuff like that though. I think we can do a good job, but it doesn't. I can't front and be like movie scores influence me because I don't think they have.
Right, and that's cool. You know, like you know, like they don't have to either.
Yeah,
like
it's I love them, but yeah.
Yeah, no, just
John Bryan. John Bryan.
Oh man,
that shit is crazy. I fuck with John Bryan a lot.
Yeah, he does like 80 million different things with the music he makes. Like I like all the stuff he did for Mac Miller and just like all the different film scores. He's crazy with it, man. But nah, like it's just all about like associating sound and image, you know, and yeah, like skate tapes are just skates. Yeah, no, like skate tapes and skating culture were like a really big window for me. I really got a lot of it through like tapes and Tony Hawk and shit.
Yeah, pro skater.
Tony Hawk Underground 2 World Destruction Tour is like that's one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Just like put me on to hella 3 Inches of Blood and Rancid, and like that's kind of how I got into like rhyme sayers and stuff. Like that was the first time I'd ever heard Atmosphere. They had Trying to Find a Balance on there, all that shit. You know, that was you know, like game soundtracks in particular were a really big, like game and movie soundtracks were a really big music discovery tool for me. You know, on some shit. So you know, like as the both of y'all, you know, like move through your lives, when did y'all first know that music would become more than just a hobby for you? Like when was it? When did y'all become lifers? Ish.
I'd say for me about close to 10 years ago, because around that time I did a lot of feature work and a lot of freestyles and stuff like that, but I always wrote. Like I said, I wrote for years before I even started recording. Mm-hmm. So for me, within that time period was just sharpening my skill, making sure I was writing stuff that was different than I thought other people would write, and I would rap it and people would be like, yo, that's dope, you should record that. I think it's a lean for that.
Right.
So once I said to myself, like, all right, I'm gonna really sit back and put 110% into this on just coming up with certain concepts and stuff and certain flow patterns and all of that. It kind of all started to just fall in line for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like Doug, what about you?
Longer than that, it was like maybe 18, maybe even 19 years ago. I had friends, I was living up in Poughkeepsie, who wanted to start making music, who wanted to start like rapping and singing and stuff. And they asked if I wanted to, and I wasn't really interested in doing that, but I was interested in buying. I was like, you need someone to record you. Like, I'll buy the computer, I'll figure out how to do that part, because that sounds really fun to me. Because I was becoming obsessed with music at that point. So when they wanted to do that, I wanted to be involved, but I didn't feel like writing or doing any of that. So the first thing I learned how to do was like the original Garage Band, like the first time that was out. And then I just became obsessed with messing with the different effects in it, and anytime they would want to record, I was excited. So it just kind of developed from there. And then I tried to play with the little virtual instruments and make tracks and stuff. Eventually got into sampling. Yeah.
What was the first track you made that you were like happy with? Both of you, honestly.
No I definitely don't know, but I remember, you know, the first time one of those friends probably recorded on something I made, that was probably really fun, because it was usually just downloading Lil Wayne beats or whatever, and they just wanted to record on them so we could learn how to do it. But I must have put something together in GarageBand, like with their little loops and stuff and the virtual instruments, and if they rapped on that, I was psyched on that probably. Yeah, I remember that.
What about you, Sharif?
For me, I'd say about 2014, 2015, had a duo at the time. Age of Extinction, shout out to my man Soundtrack from Jersey City.
Already.
And we put out a project, and it was super dope, and I remember just hearing those songs back and performing those songs. I was like, yo, this is dope. Like, it made me excited. It made me keep going and keep pushing creatively and all of that type of stuff. So, yeah, I would definitely say stuff I was doing around that time. And it's dope because it's a lot of people in the building that I knew from back then that's still around me. So, shout out to y'all for still, I still the test out there.
Same here, bro. People have known my whole life for here. You gotta hold them close to your heart at all times, man. Like, I love y'all for real. Before we get into y'all's relationship, I want to touch a little bit on each of your respective careers. Like, Dove, I know you've produced for more artists than I can even imagine, and like you've engineered for even more than that. You know, like between like Das Racist and Lacutus and like our mutual homie YC the Cynic, otherwise known as Kemba, and Alaska. You and Alaska Adams just put a project out this year. Like,
named after the show Patriot. The entire concept of that.
Crazy.
Come
on.
I'm gonna watch this damn show, Patriot. It better be fired because you going hard as hell for it. He going he going crazy. The shit better blow my socks off.
See,
I wanted to say that. I had to say that.
See, now
dark comedy.
All right, it better be fired.
See, the thing is, this is the toughest critic I know right here. Sharif is the harshest critic I know.
He also likes Lil Wayne Rebirth. So.
I'm wildin'. Rebirth ain't have some drinks on there?
Silence.
Okay.
I feel bad now.
Just so y'all know, this is the last thing me and this man will ever do. So, thank y'all for y'all support. You feel me? Rebirth has some drinks. My man.
I'm not worried. It's a good show.
No, I'm gonna tap into it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do it too now. Fuck it. But just like your beats and your production and just like your mixing and engineering style. It's like just such a range from digital to grungy to just plain spooky. Just like, and you started your own label and you've got really crazy things going on over there. Just considering that you're at this point now where you're doing these three things, just like as a producer and as an engineer and as a label head, which of those three things do you think came easiest to you and why?
Easiest producer, because I just get really stoned and then push the buttons and like that's so fun, and like that's what I've been doing a lot. I started engineering, but producing is the most fun thing. You know, you make a bunch of beats, like that shit is. So that's the easiest. You know, like
Right.
it's just so easy to start making beats, and if they come out good, then it's great. If they don't, whatever, try tomorrow. But and then it's all very fun though. Like the engineering is so fun because I meet so many ridiculous artists and get to work closely on their music in like an intimate way before it ever comes out. So it's like this very kind of special thing. So I really respect that as well, for sure.
Right. Yeah. No. And just like all those things are so different.
Yeah.
And so it's just always really interesting to me to see how that comes together and like how like do you feel like all that do you feel like anything like does anything you do as a producer or engineer kind of influence the way you look at releasing music through a label or like has running a label informed you about things about music that you might not have thought about before?
Before running the label, it became fun and funny to realize how incredible it is to like use spreadsheets and organization, and like it is astonishing the amount of artists that I've worked with. I'll send them a spreadsheet with all the songs and like notes, and they'll be like, "Holy shit!" Yeah. They'll be like, "Thank you!" Like I can look at the organization and kind of bringing that. Like I've had corporate day jobs before, and I still do, and kind of like bringing that just like project management organization to the table is fun and funny and does a lot for the projects. It really helps a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah. No. That's just like it's a circle of life type thing, and that's not something that I have a lot of experience with myself. But like, or at least not when it comes to like directly making music and like releasing it and shit. But
right.
Yeah. No. But like Sharif, like you've been so prolific for like you've been on a crazy run, particularly for the last like 3-4 years. Like around the first time you and I met was like right after Gandhi Loves Children came out. And just like it's just been like none of your two albums, like both of y'all, but like you in particular, like none of your two albums sound the same, and like it's just like always just these like new ideas, and just like once again just like these landscapes that you just managed to create. Just like walk me through your typical writing process. Like when you hear a beat, like do you usually come with your own stories and ideas, or do you like let a beat speak to you and like let it tell you what to do?
Me personally, I always kind of let the music speak to me, but more from the spiritual end. So, like for example, we make a decay. I'll take certain beats home and I'll put them on this big speaker in my room and play them for like 8 hours when I'm sleeping. And usually when I'm sleeping, I'll see different colors and shapes and different temperatures and all of that. And in my head, I'm just like, all right, the connection between these words is literally just the spirit world. So I'm like, basically, me writing is always like, how can I bring these messages that came to me in the spirit to life so people can see them and understand them? So that always been my process for a minute. And you can even ask, you can ask Bookerville and Roper in the back. They get annoyed because I'll play the same beat for like 5 hours, like, yo, this shit is dope. I see this, and that. But that always been my part of my process to kind of enhance it. So
yeah, no, I really just like let it like sit and simmer, and
Yeah, no, for sure. Because to me, that's one thing music is great right now, but from all genres, like it's a lot of different artists where you can hear something and be like, all right, I can tell he heard that and just wrote to it. He ain't really sit with it. He ain't let it grow with him. He ain't really let it go into his body the way it should. Like, and I never wanted to do that. Like, I'm always like, there's no time period on when our creation can come out. It's not a time clock on when the creative bug should hit. So to me, it's always just like, all right, I'm gonna take all this time, I'm gonna take all this energy, and make sure when it come out, it's something special.
Yeah, nah, I see the benefits of both, of course. Like, there's like so many benefits to just I was just having a conversation with somebody within the last couple of days where it's just like, more often than not, like the first idea you have is going to be the best depending on the situation you're in. But like at the same time, like being able to live with music, being able to live with beats, like whether you're making them or just like rapping to them, is like, it's just like it's kind of like listening to music like the way I listen to it for work. It's just like you won't, like sometimes you won't even you'll notice things on the 5th or 6th listen that you didn't on the first. and then like feel like, oh damn, like I'm mad I missed that detail, like I couldn't make that connection, like.
No. I super agree with you on the first idea is most of the time usually the best, but I'm going from the aspect of the first idea being enhanced.
Right.
So like, for example, yesterday I took my mother out for her birthday. We talking.
Hey.
She literally having just a conversation with me about a friend of hers and something that she's going through. It gave me a whole concept for a project. So I got a title for it. I got the beats I wanted to sound in my head. Now I just got to find the words to express what she was telling me within our conversation. Right. And it won't be, when she hear it, she's not going to know it's from that. But like, in my head, that's the first idea. So now, I'm like, all right, this probably not even going to be ready to be seen for like 3 or 4 years. And it's just like, all right, I got a title, I got sayings. All right, now I just let everything else just naturally happen. Like,
that's hard, honestly. Like just like letting it simmer and develop, and like having an inspiration, but having it like the inspiration being there, but it not being like directly tied to the inspiration. That's dope. That's really hard to do.
No, because it even going back to film, like rest in peace, William Friedkin.
Oh man, for real.
One of my favorite directors, because you can see literally 5 movies of his, and The Exorcist not like Bug, not like The French Connection. But literally it took him 5 or 6 years to make some of the movies. He had the inspiration, but it wasn't time for it.
Right.
And that's how I create a lot of stuff. Like, in certain projects and songs now that's done with Dove, Roper, a bunch of different collaborators. But I'm like, yo, people they're not even gonna care, be ready to hear this until they hear the other chapters of the book.
Yeah.
Like, me just giving them chapter 9, it's like, that's cool, but I wish I heard chapter 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 first. Like, and I'm like, yeah, that's coming later. Like,
right. and that's a perfect segue into Decay, because like once again, like the two of y'all just created something that feels like dilapidated and lived in, and it's like I remember the first time I walked into an apartment project building. And that's what Decay made me feel like.
What apartment building, what project building is this? There's different types of projects. Because I walked in somewhere, I'm like, damn, these niggas might kidnap me and shoot me to death and put me back in the car. That feeling is different than like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. I don't like being here, but I'll come back later. Which one was it? It was in a stairwell. Like a mixture of both.
It was in a basement. It was in like a real dirty, dingy basement.
Sheesh.
And it was just like, but like I wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't uncomfortable. It just felt like this. It just kind of felt like the space was lived in, and like things had been there, people had been in there. You know, like it was like being in there was an experience in and of itself. And it's strange to think about it. I literally just thought about it right now, but like that's kind of how Decay made me feel, like just like the words and the sounds. It's just like I could touch it, you know, like I could touch it and smell it. And like I want to start with you, Doug, like because I know if I remember correctly, you gave Sharif a pack of beats that had you already made them before?
Yeah, no, and he came through to choose them, so I didn't email them.
So like, what was going through your brain when you made these? Like, there's like 4 I picked out that we'll talk about later.
It doesn't work like it doesn't really work like that. Like I'll just make a bunch a night. And then I might go a week or 2 without even making any, or maybe I'll make 1 or 2 a night for a few days. So, and they'll be all different sounds. Like they won't, maybe they'll have like some sort of, maybe if it's the same night, they'll have some sort of similar vibe, but usually not. So when he came over, I was just playing the whole list, like any random stuff.
Right.
And then after he chose the first few, which was like, I think, like Brandon Lee and Phantasm, maybe Designer Drugs, was that early? After he chose those and took those home from the first session, came back the second session, there was already a slight vibe happening. Then the second session, you chose some more beats, and I think like even we're close to having the name and stuff like that. So the world just kind of developed naturally through Sharif really making the selection, and then each time him coming through, I knew which ones to play towards that vibe. But I would just go through randomly anyway. So yeah,
that's hard. Sharif, what was can you remember like one of the first experiences? Actually, no, I forgot to ask. How did y'all 2 first meet?
So somebody put the Smithsonian video on my time, like I saw it on Twitter, somebody, I can't remember who, and I saw it and watched it and really liked the song, and so I DM'd him on Instagram, and I was like, this project's crazy, I'm listening to it, sounds dope, and then he was like, all right, let's get on the phone. We got on the phone, and I was like, come through. There's a lot of mutual friends already, and like familiar with individuals' music, and it was a very natural process. And then took the 2.5-hour trip to Brooklyn.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man, though. I just want to say, anybody from Jersey in the building, make some noise for yourself. Come on. And if there's anybody from New York in the building, make love for us coming all the way out here. Because this is a 2.5-hour drive. It was a 2.5-hour trip. That's how much we love y'all. And we love that energy. It's far as hell.
What was your first impression with Dove's music, Sharif? Like what really stuck out to you about what he does? Cause it's a legend right here, man.
Yeah, hey. No, that's literally when we got on the phone, we got to talk and chopped it up. He told me come through, so I went to a spot. Again, for my Jersey heads, I went to the wrong damn Barclay. No, not Barclay. What's the other?
Subway stop.
I went to the wrong Atlantic stop.
Yeah.
So I was on a whole other side of Brooklyn. I'm calling him like, bro, where the fuck you at? The walk to your hour and 20. Dude, you're at the wrong spot. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go home because I came all the way the fuck out here. I'm gonna find this damn studio. Found the studio, we kind of hit it off from the top. And kind of what I liked about his beats was kind of just the world they created. And they kind of had me write a different way than I was usually writing, tapping into certain things. And like you said, during the first 2 or 3 sessions, we kind of had a lot of the skeleton for the album. So songs like Brandon Lee, songs like Boogie Monster, songs like The Farewell Outfit. And we kind of put the rest of the concept of the album around that.
Right, yeah,
Yeah, it was just kind of natural, for sure.
That's tight. Yeah, like, I'm happy you mentioned that because I was going to ask, like, if you came to Decay with the theme in mind at all. But also, just like speaking to, like, you know, like as a testament to Doug's sound, like the first time I heard Call Me When You're Outside, like, it's just, like, his album that he put out, it's a compilation through Backwoods.
Super far.
Yeah, like, it's just, everything about it is just, like, bleach white. It's like, weird to describe it like that, but it's just, like, it feels just like a bone laying in the middle of the street that's just been stripped of everything, but just, like, the whiteness on the bone. You know, like, it almost doesn't look real. You know, it's like real, but it's not real. You know, and like I've always appreciated that quality about all of your music. You know, like everything I've heard. Like I could sit here and list titles forever. But like,
no, and I was gonna say, like, again, like you said, the world he created within the music.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, like, usually when I'm sitting and zoning out to music, I like to cry to it. So if I can cry to it, I know it's something special. Like,
wow, I've never seen you cry. That's crazy.
You never see me listen to music for like 8 hours straight.
You can't listen to Rebirth.
He said listen to Rebirth.
No more Rebirth slaying, I'm getting a new damn DJ. Who wanna be my DJ, y'all? He's fired. Rebirth hard, fuck him.
Oh my God.
That's just that shit out hard? Exactly.
Before we get to specific songs, you know, like when you know, like y'all both have different and like respectively long relationships with Backwoods Studios. Shout out to Woods, shout out to Backwoods, shout out to Anton. Amazing, they're going on a fucking run right now. They've been on a run forever.
Yes,
you know, but just like when did was this a deal where y'all brought the album to the label, or was this an idea that was like, oh, like y'all should work together and like you made it happen, or like when did it reach that? Or then?
No, I would say kind of like around the end of the recording process, me and Dove was talking and kind of figuring out what we wanted to do with it. He brought up Backwoods from his relationship and dropped it and called me when you were outside. He was like, yo, I think Backwoods could be a dope spot for the album. We showed the album to Woods. He was feeling it, thought it was dope, and kind of like the rest was history with it.
Yeah. Nah, and yeah, you know, like since you have such an extensive history with the label, like talk to me about working with Backwoods and like what it was like to, because I mean, like you've produced for Woods forever, and like you have beats and have been engineering for like projects for you know, like for like a good minute, but just like you know, like at this point with a project like Decay, because like I feel like running from Call Me When You're Outside to Decay is just like these are like the biggest spotlights you've ever had.
For sure.
You know, like so like what was it like to kind of be in that position when you've been working with them behind the scenes and then just being like here with me and us on a Saturday night and it's kind of hot outside and
it was great. I mean, shout out to Billy Woods. He he helped me put together the first album I put out with them, Call Me When You're Outside. I pitched him something else that we were gonna do, but then we did this instead because it was shorter and smarter.
Right.
And that was after like having engineered I go back, like I was on the first couple Arm & Hammer albums, and then I was on one or two of the first few Woods albums. But the consistent relationship started with Hiding Places. So I recorded that album, and then just from there, just watched it skyrocket. And then by the time I was working with Sharif on Decay, we put Black Spider-Man on Call Me When You're Outside, sort of like as foreshadowing, because I was already talking to Woods about it, like, dude, you're gonna like this album probably, like, you want to start talking about it, and he was in from the beginning, and we just put it together.
Yeah,
and they're incredible. It's an incredible place to collaborate, like, they're just great people. Yeah.
Yeah, like they, you know, y'all are really like a creative first type of household, and like being able to experience that for 3 months. When anybody who doesn't know, I wrote a big piece on them for Pitchfork about Backwoods, and I've been
dealing with that.
It's just like being able to see all that. I'm just like in first person, like going over to Doug's crib and seeing the studio. Like these guys are about their shit in that way, and it's just really, really fire to me. So I really want to. I really want to just like highlight a couple of songs before we get out of here. There's 4 that came to mind for me on my 4th or 5th listen to this shit. So the first one naturally is Phantasm, because Phantasm's the one I've been stuck on. Like it might like that and The Christening and Ash Wednesday are my 3 favorite beats on the whole album. So like I've really been just like talk to me like just like the guitar line and like the echoes and the bass. It's just like fog.
Crazy beat.
It's just like fog rolling in over a building type shit. Like Phantasm, like
I feel like okay, so Phantasm is the exact same sample as Think Pieces. So side A and side B start with the exact same sample, flipped a different way. And I feel like it's just this guitar.
I didn't know that.
I'd have to look, but in my mind, I feel like the sample on Phantasm is just a guitar hit that's slowed down a fucking million%. And it just like drags out and sounds like something different. So there's like no drums, or there's like little drums, I can't even remember right now, but that's just a weird, not much to that beat in terms of stems and extra production, but there's just like a really strange sample, really fucked up.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's great, yeah. And you love Think Pieces just the same way.
Shit made my bones tingle.
Yeah. Right, that shit sounds like scorched earth.
It was a bone tingle.
What was it like the first time you heard Phantasm and like, tell me.
That was hard. That's exactly. Nah, it definitely hit me from the gate, but I kind of took it and sat with it for a minute. So I want to say I might have took it to the crib, did my regular sleep to it on repeat, seen shapes and sizes and smelled the beat and all types of shit for like a month, and then came back like, yo, listen to this. This is hard. The rest was history with it, right?
Yeah, like what a crazy way to open an album. It's just really like a scene setting type of song, and just like you just talking about like Pan's Labyrinth and Murder Grey Dragons and just like. God, I don't even know. It's just like.
And we got to shoot an incredible video for it if you haven't seen it.
Yes.
We went to his Poughkeepsie, NY.
We went to Poughkeepsie.
Far as hell.
Dunscap. Is Dunscap still here?
Yeah.
Dunscap,
you from Poughkeepsie in the building? What's about it, eh? Poughkeepsie in the building. Let's go.
Really?
Shout out to Duns if he's still here.
Yes, Duns was here. He's an artist. He directed that video. Came out amazing.
It's just tight. And then like we've already talked about it a bunch, but I want to know more about Brandon Lee, because I mean, like, you know, you hear a title like Brandon Lee. Obviously, the first thing I think of is The Crow and everything that happened with The Crow. For people who don't know, he was accidentally shot with a prop gun that wound up actually having a bullet in it, and he was supposed to get shot in a scene, and he wound up getting actually shot and died. It's pretty wild. The
super change of events for the ending.
Yeah, no, I don't know if y'all seen The Crow, but it could have gone a different way, you know. But yeah, no, talk to me about Brandon Lee.
Nah, that was one of those beats. I want to say that might have been in the second or third session of us recording.
Yeah.
So I want to say I took that home and listened to it, and I'm listening to it, and for some reason I'm seeing the color gray. I'm seeing foggy rain, and I'm thinking about that movie.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where the hook came from, and I kind of let everything else just kind of naturally flow from that.
Right. And what was that? What was that beat like? Just like.
I have no idea. I mean, yeah, like I didn't really custom make any beats for this project. I don't think like they were just most of the stuff in the pack, and maybe like as time was going on, I was making new ones, but I try not to be like this is gonna be for Sharif or like that. I just try to make weird shit and then let him pick. But so I can't remember any specifics details about that beat, but yeah, I love it.
That's hard, man. Like the fact that these all came from a pack and they still cohere.
Yeah, that's
you know, like
the two of us kind of going back and forth and making the world.
Right. Yeah.
No, that's one thing. Like, it was definitely a homegrown album. So
yeah.
And it's crazy because literally I was recording that Cyber City and Preaching to Havana at the exact same time.
Really?
So I would come out here, go to Dove Studio.
Jim Carrey, '94.
Bring it out.
See? Come on.
JM, stop playing with him.
For y'all who didn't hear that.
I'll go to Dove Studio maybe 12 to 2, dip out of there, go to my man's lunch spot from like 4 to 6, do some Cyber City shit. Dip out of there, go see my man Face, do some Preaching to Havana stuff 8 to 10, and then 2 hours back to Jersey. Clap for that, y'all. Y'all better respect that shit. 2.5 hours.
That's very real.
But yeah, that was definitely something. One of the tracks early on that we heard where we kind of was like, all right, this is kind of the theme of the album. Let's keep this Brandon Lee conversation going for 15 plus tracks. Definitely, yeah, because to me, like, the concept of the album kind of came from just, like you said, we started it October 2020, so that was in the height of COVID and everything crazy going on from just people not knowing where they're going to live at, not knowing where their money going to come from, mental illness and suicides and everything at an alarming rate. So to me, it was kind of like the world literally died and had to relearn itself how to move again, how to function again from scratch. Like, it literally was decaying. So we wanted to give the soundtrack for that.
There it is. Man. So the other two that really stuck out to me, the one, like, I mean, like, I love the project, but like the one where I heard it and was just like my neck wouldn't stop moving was Ash Wednesday. Like, it's for lack of a better word, it's the most traditional song on the album. You know, it's one that's just like a drum break with some instrumentals and samples over it. Like, that was, so like, what was it like putting Ash Wednesday together for the both of you?
I feel like that came much later. It came towards the end of the record. And it
was
was
in the last 2 shows.
Yeah, and it was different because it was more traditional, but it still had that super fucked up weird piano, like distorted piano thing. Yeah, so it stayed within the cadence of, I think, the album, and he just rapped fast on it. Like that shit was hard.
Yeah. I didn't know I could rap faster like that.
I did.
Right.
See, I be thinking, hold on.
Because the other was whatchamacallit was already done. The christening you rapped fast.
Hold on,
right.
Shout out to all of the heavy set rappers that rap fast. We can do the fast shit too. You skinny niggas.
I wasn't doubting you.
We can do it too. Give it up. Clap it up.
Come on.
The big niggas that can rap fast.
Yo, I gotta.
What's wrong with y'all?
I gotta say, like, the first time I heard Ash Wednesday, I thought to myself, like, Who here's played Silent Hill before? Has anybody here played a Silent Hill? That shit, like, if somebody made a Silent Hill Saturday morning cartoon, that's what Ash Wednesday sounds like to me. That's like the theme song. Like, you got like Pyramid Head bouncing in the back and shit.
I ain't gonna lie, that was like, I liked when I wrote that. I was like, oh, I'm going quick, relax, Ultraman, MK. Like, I was like, oh, I'm wilding on this. And it's faster than I usually spit. So that's one thing I kind of want to thank Dog for the production, give it up for my man Dog.
Yeah,
the production kind of had me writing in different ways, in different pockets, and even people I was showing to early, like you heard it early, my man 89 Court, everybody heard it early, they was like, yo, this is dope, like, you doing something different, and I'm like, all right, Dove, thank you for that, man. You're welcome, man. Love you so much. My man.
Woo! And the last one that comes to mind for me was the christening, which you just mentioned. Just like, once again,
my favorite song on the project, writing-wise. I love the writing on it.
Man,
that strong stuff, dude.
That shit sounds like an acid hot tub.
Yeah. Acid hot tub.
That I can tell a little bit, like that particular beat, one and that one, and I think one other track on the album. I usually make beats in a particular program.
It was probably just that. No. I remember I asked you for the stems, and you was like,
so I didn't have stems for that. I just made it improvisationally on some digital turntables, and it was just like this looping thing. But it just, the little bass loop had so much energy to it, and it just, even though it was the same loop, it just felt like it was constantly moving. And then when he started rapping that fast, it's just like, oh, there's so much movement to this track. Like, that's a heavy track.
Right.
Yeah, I fuck with that.
Yeah, it's just like it's just like rumbles.
Yeah.
It's just like a hungry stomach. That's the only way I can think to describe it. That's the only way I can think to describe that shit.
What the fuck?
It's a
hungry stomach.
It sounds like
that's hard. No, because now I'm about to do an album from the perspective of a stomach.
Come on.
But it's going to be eating different things. So it's going to be a stomach only eating fruits, only eating vegetables, only eating greasy food. You started something with that shit.
Hey man, no, we need your food. We need your food. You gotta make that happen.
Food album. It's coming soon next week. It's all about Chinese food.
This is the Chinese food expert right here. This is the Chinese food expert.
We're going to get Chinese food after this, so pull up on us.
Everyone in here just coming into the Chinese.
No, we're rolling 80 deep tonight, bro. But before we formally wrap this up, and go to some Q&A and maybe some songs after. Just like creating this project over the course of 3 years, right?
Yeah.
You make it, you find the vision, you find the home for it. You start to get more into the Backwoods universe and start showing up on features, and people start to know what a lot of us already knew, and it's like Sharif's on some crazy shit. Like, how does it feel to like drop an album like this, having worked so long on it, and kind of have this be like a, relatively speaking, like a marquee moment for like the both of y'all? Because I feel like there's like a lot of layers for you and for you here.
No, it's just a blessing. I just want to thank everybody who saw the vision, supported it, and showed love from the gate, and even people that's getting put onto it now. So, to me, that's where I'm at with it. I'm always just on the aspect of like, I'm excited for the next thing. I can't wait to get into the next creative vessel project-wise. I always want to inspire people who follow me and just close friends, close family, and all of that to just know that creativity has no boundaries. You can do whatever you want to do. Like, people out here trying to make it seem like you got to be one way or this way, and it's like, bro, the creative vessel don't stop. You can write something now, 3 years, it can come out. You don't got to rush it. You don't got to put it against what the next man is doing, and you got to put it against what you're doing. And that's it. Simple.
Yeah.
So love all of y'all who always supported, show love. Thank y'all. Thank you. My man Gilly. Always, bro. My brother Love, Dove, all that.
Dove, you have any final thoughts you want to add there?
No, I'm not going to be able to say it much better than that.
Felt.
Really excited to make experimental music with Sharif and Backwoods and shit. Yeah.
Right, yeah, no, it's just like, it's so important. It's so important to be able to create. It's so important to be able to create in your own universe, but be in conversation with other people at the same time, like not necessarily thinking about them, but like being able to drop shit that's like in conversation with people and like be within a community and kind of recognized as such. Like that's really, really, really special.
No, you couldn't even be true about that, because literally everybody in the room, whether you actively doing something creative, like whether it's animation, music, fashion, you put here for something.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we supposed to do more than just work a 9 to 5 and be alone and all of that type of shit. We supposed to leave our mark on the world. And to me, that's what we all doing. Everybody who here tonight, like, it's all about that. So absolutely, for sure. 100%.
And to formally wrap this up, the both of y'all, if your lives were a movie, what would they be about? Could be individually or together, depending on how you want to answer it, but yeah.
My movie would be about me discovering this world, becoming a martial arts teacher, opening a Chinese restaurant. But on the weekends, I work at a liquor store. Turn up. Give it up for liquor stores and Chinese food.
Let's Doug, what about you?
I don't know, man. I just want to open a studio, so I would make a movie about that, and then I would work for Sharif at the Chinese spot. Do dishes, bus tables, we'll do it. We'll make music in the back.
We gotta get Charlie Kaufman and Michelle Garner. That's
Hey, hold on, before we, I just want to shout out to you, bro. I love you, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out, bro!
You were telling me you wanted to do this for a while, and you actually did it. A lot of people in these fields talk shit. They breathe bad energy. You always come with good energy, and it's coming back to you. So
That's right.
Keep going, bro.
It's really fucking my pleasure. It's been beautiful building with the both of y'all and just like seeing the work that's come from it, and just like, yeah, like since we're at the end now, before we open it up to questions, like, man, just like I just want to say, like, I just gotta run through some names because we're here. You know, like, you know, shout out to Mike, Big Flowers in the back. He designed the logo.
My man.
This shit.
We got the bleach, the rods, and the
He's the reason this whole thing has a visual identity at all. There wouldn't be one without him. So shout out to Michael. Love you more. Shout out to J Words, who I don't think is here. She made the intro. All 100+ episodes, they've all been her shit, you know? Like, shout out to her. Shout out to Every Deja Vu Records for reaching out to me last week and sponsoring
Shout out to Loudmouth BK.
Yeah, shout out to Loudmouth BK. Most of all, shout out to Sam and everybody for hosting us here. You know, like, this is, my heart's very full right now. And I love every single person in here. And y'all really made this shit worth it in a way that I don't know that I'll process until 2 weeks from now. Yeah, nah, man. Like, thank y'all, man. Thank you.
We're going to come on there and real notes.
Thank y'all, man. So, like, if anybody, before these guys spin a few tracks, does anybody have any questions for any of us at all? Cool. How we
I can pass it.
Just scream that shit loud. And then like I can't.
It's not gonna work. Alright, yeah, he says it's not gonna work. One? I mean.
Oh yeah, that's true. You do know.
Turn your damn mic on. Give it up for my man Booger Belly.
Yes, please. Yeah, no, shout out to Book for coming through and DJing, man. That was.
Anytime.
Come on, man.
All right.
My man driving.
First question goes to Drop Live.
Let's go.
I feel like Jerry Springer, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. He raised us.
I know this is one of your favorite things in life. Are you still making a documentary about 35?
Wow. Wow.
Let the people know what that is who don't know what 35 is.
Please, come on. They gotta know.
Why would you ask him that?
Silence out. See? We on the same level. You see how you trying to make that high. 35 is a strip club near me. That it be popping, it be jumping. That shit, it's a good energy.
And it's closed right now.
It's closed right now, but we're gonna put some money in again and open it again. So yes, I will be back at 35. Make some noise for 35. Next question. Any other questions?
Who got questions?
Just we're gonna do some questions, and I'm gonna do a couple drinks, and we're gonna be here chilling. We got the vinyl. Come pick out some vinyl, get a sound. We're gonna take pictures. We're gonna chill. You feel me?
If anybody can get stickers, we got stickers. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Larry, please.
All right, boom, bro. Check it out. So, all three of y'all really. So I got into the movie.
Close that door, y'all. Close that door. All right.
Kind of late, and I started out with a lot of animation, cartoons and shit.
Yeah.
And
fire.
my first time, like, the crossover, where I'm like, one, outside of Lion King, I think that's like every little kid's like classic shit. This is
Classic.
Especially our age, classic.
Yeah, like early 90s, like late 90s shit is like, wow, Simba, that nigga. But the first time like I had animation cross over to my world on some holy shit, this is like a movie, was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They freaked it crazy.
Great choice.
Yeah, they freaked it crazy. So my question is, what animated film like really hit you for the first time?
Oh.
Sharif first.
My G. Fantastic Planet all day.
Woo! Fantastic choice. Damn. Oh.
I'll say Fantastic Planet and Lion King. Lion King was hard. James Earl Jones was wild.
Damn. I mean, like off top, the first thing that comes to mind is Osmosis Jones for me. Like that movie's so pivotal for me in like 18 different ways. Like that movie's so hard in like 18 different ways. So like the animation's gorgeous. Like I know how the human body works because of that. I learned more from that movie than I learned from any science class.
God damn. And they had to say Lunatics joint.
Yeah,
Stop playing with the legs. Stop playing with the tick.
And the soundtrack was crazy too. It had the St. Lunatics joint, it had the De La Soul joint, it had the Solange Knowles joint, all of them.
Okay. I do remember most of those.
I lost that CD and I'm so mad about it. What about you though?
First animated?
First animated, man.
Like those Disney, we had, when I was a little kid, we had all those Disney VHSs, Fantasia, do you remember that shit? Absolutely. Didn't have words, right? There wasn't dialogue, like, that was a visual. Yeah, I remember that being really fucking cool. Little Mermaid, like that looked cool to me. I feel like I'm a little old for Tarzan, that's a little later. What were the first two? Fantasia was crazy, that's for sure.
Sword and Stone.
I remember that, Sword and Stone.
Sword and Stone is crazy.
But yeah, that's about it.
I have a question.
Sure. What's up, Davis?
Oh, what's going on? Speaking of Osmosis Jones, I have a question for all three of you.
Yeah.
Is Osmosis Jones a Chris Rock movie or is it a Bill Murray?
That's hard.
Good question. So I'm gonna say it's probably a Chris Rock movie because for me personally, he's the reason I enjoy that movie. Like the movie, for anybody who doesn't know the movie, like all the animation had already been done before they even casted a human actor to be in it. So like that was already there. So like to me, that makes it a Chris Rock movie.
What's Bill Murray's character's name?
Frank.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, it's Frank. He don't even got a last name. It's just Frank.
It ain't called that. It's called that.
Me personally, I'd say more of a Chris Rock just because he got a cooler voice.
Yeah.
And what he was doing was doper. Bill Murray, he messing with Khalees, but so he over Chris Rock with that. He over Chris Rock with dating Khalees. No, dating Khalees way better than being in the movie. I ain't gonna front. Stop playing with Khalees.
Bro. What about you? Do you have anything to add?
I have not seen it.
Again, that show better be fire. You ain't seen Osmosis Jones. That show better be fire.
Okay. I'm gonna be nicer. If we watch Patriot, you gotta watch out.
I will. I'll watch.
All right, cool. Okay, I think we got time for like maybe 2 more questions. I'd say so. Yeah, we got 1, 2.
Hell yeah.
Alright, just because we're on the subject of animated movies,
Sir.
And this is something I watched recently and really liked. Have any of you seen a 70s animated film called Coonskin?
I have.
God damn. Coonskin. Whoa. What the hell is that shit about?
Yes. To answer your question.
I never seen it. I never got a chance to see it.
Yes. You gotta watch that shit.
Is it fire?
Great movie.
Alright, y'all gotta tap in.
Shout out to Ralph Bakshi. He's crazy. Did you have a question to go with that? Or we just
No, he was asking did any of us see it.
I have not seen it.
I gotta check that shit out.
Very, very, very good.
Yeah, it's streaming on some free service right now. That's where I saw it.
If
he said that shit like
if it's on Tubi, that'd be perfect. Shout out to my dad. My dad has that movie on DVD in the back. He's back there somewhere. But yeah.
Shout out to Papa real mode. Shout out to Papa real mode.
The movie's wild, son. Yeah.
I'm gonna check that shit out.
You have a question, son? Oh. And then we got Reg in the back in the message.
My G.
Hi.
Hey.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Wow.
I appreciate you. Give it up for my man Silence. He got a new project out right now, too. Him and my brother Lone Shoe or Taste Grip shit. Hell yeah.
Okay. If there were a recent movie you've seen that you wouldn't mind being reincarnated in.
Ninja Turtles. Facts. Donatello!
Right. So, man, I'm gonna say of all the things I've seen recently, I'm gonna say either Pan's Labyrinth because I just watched it again recently. It's one of my favorite movies ever. I love the aesthetic of it. I mean, like outside of the fact that it's about war, it's really sad. But like, I love the Fawn. He's one of the coolest things ever made. And then maybe that Blackberry movie because I like watching rich white people yell at each other and ruin their lives. So.
Oppenheimer. That was Oppenheimer for 3 hours. That was Oppenheimer for 3 hours, and you, Booker Belly, and Cole, I was super that movie. I'd rather watch Malcolm X if I'm watching the album movie.
Doug has something to say. What'd you say?
Blackberry's crazy. If you haven't seen Blackberry, watch it. You know the guy from the guy from It's Always Sunny goes crazy in it, and it's like it's weird because it's about a true story, but they don't present it like a documentary. It's about BlackBerry or iPhone taking over BlackBerry. Like you gotta watch it. It's really fucking cool.
I got an Android, so don't nobody care about that. Shout out to all my Android users in the world. Fuck iPhones.
Yeah, it's like it's the social network, but about BlackBerry. That's the pitch. That's the pitch. But we got one more question from coming from right over here.
Hi, hello everyone. I had a specific question. So you know how like Jamie Foxx played Ray Charles, and stuff like that. When they inevitably make a Fatboi Sharif, Dub, and Dylan Green biopic, who you gonna have play y'all? Who's your cast member? Who you casting as yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. For me, I'm gonna either say Forrest Whitaker or Still from Juice. Either one. I got a fat nigga that can act. My man, let's see. A fat nigga that can act. A fat nigga that can act a little better. Either way, I'm good.
Doug, what about you? I'm gonna say my answer for last.
Forrest Whitaker is playing me. Remember, I'll tell you first.
Matthew Broderick.
You don't do shit in movies. He acts as hell as an actor. Fuck out of here. You need a better actor.
You pick,
yeah.
All right, so for Dove, I'm going to say Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell would be a great dog. With the snack bowl and all, stop playing with Will Ferrell.
Scarlett Johansson. So if you don't understand, let me explain. She plays there was the whole Ghost in the Shell thing when she was playing an Asian lady. The movie's trash. So like the whole joke is that she can play literally anything. So Scarlett Johansson can play it.
God damn.
No. Honestly, the dude with the dreads from Best Man Holiday.
Savion Glover. that Glover guy or that nigga that played Bob Marley. Or Bob Marley can play. Michael Ealy. Whoa! Whoa! The fuck? He said, "Who's that?" Shut up, man.
My eyes. He didn't say it on the record. My eyes aren't that green. Oh shit, that'd be great though. I'd take any of them, but yo, thank y'all, man. This is
Again, thank y'all so much. Thank you, Dylan, for having us.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Loudmouth Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody in the building.
Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.